Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Adam Snow, and welcome to Arena Football League Weekly presented by the World of Football. This week, we are recapping Week 10 of the Arena Football League, the regular season finale weekend, that is, and we're going to be previewing the AFL playoffs, which start tonight. Welcome in, folks. Hopefully everybody had a wonderful 4th of July, and hopefully everybody's okay and safe. Nobody lost any fingers. That's the last thing we need. Welcome to the show. We got a lot to talk about this week, as we usually do, but we're going to start off, before we get to the Arena Football League action, we're going to start off with letting you guys know we are currently sitting at 995 YouTube subscribers. That's right, we are only 5 subscribers away from hitting that 1,000 subscriber mark that we've been striving for a while now. And if you haven't already subscribed, it would be greatly appreciated and would help us out. Also, guys, we have some other shows on the channel. Real quick, I'd like to plug, including our weekly podcast, This Week in the World of Football, that I do with my dad. We do that every Tuesday. You can go check out last week's show. It was pretty fun. We talked arena football. We talked NFL. We talked CFL. We talked so much in that show. Go over there and check that out. Also, we did a brand new Just Lying Around this week, myself and my brother-in-law Kyle, where we talked about our beloved Detroit Lions. We played the scheduled game to see how we thought the Detroit Lions would do this season. And if you guys could also check out Canadian Football League Weekly, I do with Dad. We do that every Monday right now during the Canadian Football League season. That date might change later on, but right now we're recapping every week in the CFL, which has been so much fun to keep track of. If you haven't gotten a chance to see any CFL action, check our show out. Maybe we'll get you into the CFL. Who knows? All right, guys, we're going to dive into last week's game, which was the Wichita Regulators taking on the Washington Wolfpack, as pride was on the line, and the Wichita Regulators ended the season with a 48-21 victory over those Washington Wolfpack. Both of these teams were eliminated from playoff contention, so going into the game, it was pretty meaningless. A turnover-laden first half was tough to keep up with, especially with the technical difficulties of the broadcast, but at least we had this interesting halftime show, I guess you could call it. Despite the game being 20-13 at halftime, the second half would be all Regulators as they pulled away to get their second victory of the season. Look, I don't like the idea of, meaningless games at the end of the year. It does bum me out. But, these teams were playing for pride. And so kudos to the Regulators. They were a team that were kind of, beaten around all season long. Both these teams, frankly, were beaten around all season long. And with the Wolfpack's big win last week, I thought maybe the Wolfpack would have the edge going into this game. Not the case. Regulators came out and got a nice win there. Good for them. Look, the Wolfpack, they got a lot to build on. So do the Regulators, hopefully going into next season. We'll see where their fate lies as the league kind of restructures and figures things out. So hopefully we see these two teams going into next season. I'd like to see the Regulators get a better shake, better jump at the season than they did this year. And I would love to see the Wolfpack keep going. I think they have great uniforms, great helmets. Their arena looks cool. And, they seem like they have a good fan base there. So do the Regulators. So I hope for their sakes, for their fans' sakes, that we see them next year, hopefully a little bit stronger than this year. But we'll see what the league has all said and done. All right, guys, now moving on, we're going to talk about the playoffs that start tonight with a matchup between the Nashville Cats and the Orlando Predators. That's right, the number 6 seed Nashville Cats will take on the number 4 seed Orlando Predators, while on Saturday the 6th, the number 5 seed Southwest Kansas Storm will take on the number 3 seed Salina Liberty. Now, this was something like we knew the matchups, but I didn't really pay attention to the seeding per se until I saw this graphic put out by the Albany Firebirds on their X account. And when I saw this, it was a little odd to see that they have the number 6 seed traveling to number 4 and number 5 to number 3, when traditionally, it's number 6 would go to number 3 and number 4 would go to number 5 would go to number 4. They broke up the traditional thing a little bit, which I thought was a little odd. And then as I'm looking at the graphic, and they tell you the winners of each game. So like the winner of the Nashville and Orlando game is going to go take on Billings, and the winner of the Salina and Southwest Kansas game is going to take on Albany. Now, I don't like to be a conspiracy theorist, especially when it comes to this iteration of the Arena Football League. There were a lot of rumors, obviously, in the last couple of weeks of the Albany Firebirds organization complaining about playing all their games and needing a bye week before the playoffs, and that's why every team that was in the playoffs got a bye last weekend. And I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist here to say that is it a setup to avoid the Orlando Predators. If you look at that matchup, look, the Predators have given the Firebirds a run for their money, as had Billings. So does that mean by changing up the seating the way it does, avoids a Orlando Albany matchup until a potential Arena Bowl meetup? I don't know. I'm just gonna. That's my little tinfoil hat theory right now. I don't hate to say that, but it feels like that. It's a little weird, I think, to change the seating up like that when traditional seating would say otherwise. But they change the seating up to have the matchups end up like this. I don't know. Something smells a little fishy. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's a little something else to it. Who's to say? But I just find it a little odd that Albany wouldn't play, the highest remaining seed, and Billings would play the lowest remaining seed, as is usually traditional when it comes to especially football playoff seeding in whatever level it is. But I guess it is what it is, and we'll see how everything shakes out. Maybe it'll be much ado about nothing. So, all right. Some of the biggest news of the week came from the official announcement, finally, that the playoff games and the Arena Bowl game will be played on CBS Sportsnet, as was officially announced by the Arena Football League. Something we've been hearing about for a while, something that had made its rounds on all the different Arena Football social media accounts, from our friends over at Arena Fan, Rebound Off the Net, Off the Wall. All those guys kind of found that information, put that out there for everybody. So we've kind of knew this was going to happen, and people started sharing screen grabs of the actual CBS Sports Network commercial that advertised the upcoming games this weekend. So not a big surprise that it's CBS Sportsnet now. Look, all I'll say is, look, I like CBS Sportsnet. I usually watch them for the CFL games they brought. They'll broadcast the TSN broadcast on their network, which I'm down with. And it's not a bad network. I get it on my YouTube TV, so finding the game won't be too hard this weekend. And if you don't have CBS Sportsnet, I'm sure there's a way for you to find it. I think they said it would also be streamed on Paramount Plus, was an option for you guys out there who don't have like a YouTube TV to get easy access to CBS Sportsnet. So good luck. It should be out there for you guys to find. And it starts tonight, so you got a few hours to get that all figured out. Something else I found interesting this week, I was just kind of scrolling through the Facebook Arena Football forums, and somebody had shared this, which was that the Wichita Regulators are going to be playing an exhibition game against One Up Sports, or One Up Athletics, Saturday, July 6th. So they're playing an exhibition game after their season's officially over, which I guess makes a little bit of sense because, the whole season was a weird thing for the Arena Football League. Teams lost home games, and it was a mess, so they didn't get to recoup as much revenue as I think they thought from tickets and having people in their arenas. Maybe they had arena deals that they, still need to make good on. So, hey, having this extra game here, this exhibition game, is probably a good thing for a smaller team like the Wichita Regulators to hopefully recoup some sort of revenue, keep and give their fans something to check out. So while I'm not a big fan of like this One Up Athletics putting whatever team it is they put together to just play an exhibition game, I just find it weird, but I think it's from a standpoint of making a little extra money isn't a bad thing, especially for a league that's had the struggles it's had, and for a team like the Regulators, which is as small as it is, and who knows what kind of money issues they've had to deal with, especially between the old AFL regime and having to adjust into the new AFL regime. Who's to say? So just wanted to throw that out there. I just found that very interesting. And the final news item, which also interesting, was we were doing the podcast the other day, and this kind of broke like right as we were recording, right before we started recording, is that the AFL has updated some of their social media handles, and I found that a little odd. I thought, at first when I saw the headline, I was like, oh, cool, it'll be streamlined. It'll all kind of be the same handle, maybe. That way it just makes it easier for fans to kind of find the Arena Football League, especially now when the playoffs are about to start, and it's going to be your more interesting games of the season. And that's not totally the case as you look at some of these, because like you have their YouTube handle at the Arena Football League. They have a TikTok at official AFL. They have changed their Instagram handle to at AFL_USA. And you go to Facebook, you go to facebook.com/the AFL to find their Facebook page, which the last I checked was still kind of not there. And in regards with the X account, they haven't updated that thing in a while. They reposted on June 27th about the Arena Bowl information. That's about it. They haven't really done much on that account. So going and looking at their Instagram account, however, the new one, it does say that their old account was hacked. Is this why the sudden change in all the different social media handles, or at least putting that out there for people? I just found that rather interesting that it says right at the top of the new Instagram page that the old official AFL page was hacked. So if that's the reason why all this has happened, I mean, I guess that would make some sense. I've heard about a couple other football accounts being hacked lately, so everybody be careful out there. You don't want to get hacked. If the official AFL can get hacked, and if some of these other guys can get hacked, so could you. So just be careful out there. All right, and look, that's pretty much it for this week. We should be in for a great couple of games this weekend. We should be in for some great playoffs altogether, leading up to the Arena Bowl game. So we'll be talking still week in, week out about the Arena Football League as this league wraps up the 2024 campaign. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Look, you can find the World of Football on various social media platforms. All those should be down in links in the description. Also, guys, if you could please hit the like button, subscribe button, and the little bell notification to be notified whenever we drop new videos. It'd be greatly appreciated. And we would also like to engage with you guys down in the comments. Just remember, keep it civil. You know, we like having fun conversation with you all. Even if we don't agree, it's still good conversation. And that's what we should be having down there. So until next week, guys, we're going to recap the week 1 playoff game. So we'll see you then.